Converting rational numbers. In this lesson, we will compare and order rational numbers. When we compare and order fractions, decimals, or percents, we need to convert them all to the same form so that we can make the comparison. Sometimes we can use estimation, but that has to be done on a case-by-case basis. In looking at the examples I have on this page, 18 over 100, I know I can convert that quite easily into a percent. 18 over 100 is 18%, and 18% is less than 22%. So 18 over 100 is less than 22%. In looking at my second example, 10/50ths, I know I can convert that into a percent as well to compare it to 22%. And to convert 10/50ths to a percent, I'm going to multiply my numerator and denominator by 2, making it the fraction 20 over 100. And just like in the first example, 20 over 100 as a percent would be 20%. 20% is less than 22%, so then 10/50ths is less than 22%. In my third example, I'm comparing 35/52 to 72%. And I think what I'm going to do for this example is convert both of them into decimals and then compare. And I'm going to start with the 72% because I know I just need to move my decimal point 2 places to the left to make it 72 hundredths. 35/52 is going to require long division. So 35 will go in the box and 52 will go out of the box. And I'm going to have to put a decimal point and some zeros and do some long division. I know 52 doesn't go into 3 or into 35, but it does go into 356 times. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. We need to borrow a 1, so I have 10 minus 2 is 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. I need to bring down the other 0. So now 52 goes into 387 times. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. And I'm going to stop there because I know that my quotient of 67 hundredths is enough for me to make the comparison to 72 hundredths. And 67 hundredths is less than 72 hundredths. Therefore, 35/52 is less than 72%. Finally, in my last example, I'm going to also change both of my rational numbers into decimals to make the comparison. And I'm going to start with 41% again. That one's the easiest to change into a decimal. Again, I'm going to move my decimal point 2 places to the left, and this becomes 41 hundredths. To turn 13/30ths into a decimal, I need to do long division again. I'm going to put 13 in the box and 30 out of the box. I'm going to add a decimal point and some zeros. 30 does not go into 1 or into 13, but it does go into 130 4 times. 4 times 0 is 0. And 4 times 3 is 12. And 130 minus 120 is 10. If I bring down the 0, now 30 goes into 100 3 times, and we end up with a remainder of 10. But I'm going to stop here at 43 hundredths because now I have enough to make a comparison. 41 hundredths is less than 43 hundredths, therefore 41% is less than 13 30ths. Now it's time to order rational numbers. For this we're going to use a number line. And the number line is going to be used so that we can place the rational numbers relative to each other on the number line. It may not be the exact placement, but we're going to use the number line to help us find out where they are on the number line in relation to each other. So then we can put them in the correct order, and in this case it'll be from least to greatest. So we're going to start with 1 1/4. 1 1/4 is one of the easier of the numbers to place on the number line, as it is greater than 1 but less than 1/2. In fact, it's halfway between 1 and 1/2. And I'm going to put a little hash mark at that spot, and I'm going to write 1 1/4. The next number I'm going to place on the number line is 2 6/10. 2 6/10 is greater than 2, greater than 2.5, but less than 3. In fact, if we split up the line that is in between 2.5 and 3 into 5 equal sections, 2.6 would be about here. So I'm going to draw a hash mark about there, and I'm going to put the rational number 2.6. Next I will do 80%. 80% I'm going to turn into a decimal and then locate it on the number line. 80% as a decimal is 0.8. 0.8 is greater than 0.5 or 1/2, but less than 1. And if I divide this section of my number line into 5 equal pieces, 0.8 would be about here. It's more than 3/4 or 0.75, so it's about right there. So I'm going to put a hash mark there and put 80%. Next I'm going to do 2/5. I'm going to convert 2/5 into a decimal so I can see where it fits on the number line. Just guessing ahead or estimating, I know 2/5 is less than 1/2, so it's going to be somewhere in this area. What I'm going to do is take 2/5 and I'm going to multiply my numerator and denominator by 2 so that I get a power of 10 in my denominator, and I get the fraction 4/10, which I know as a decimal is 0.4. 0.4 would be less than 0.5 or 1/2. 0.4, if I divide this section of my number line into 5 equal pieces, 0.4 would be about there. So I'm going to put a line there. And I'm going to put, instead of 0.4, let's put the real fraction 2/5. Lastly, I need to find the decimal for 3/8. I could divide this number line up, or this section of the number line up, into quarter pieces or eighth pieces and locate it that way, but I'm going to turn it into a decimal so that you can see how to convert a decimal into a fraction into a decimal one more time. So 3 would go in the box, 8 would be out of the box. I'm going to put a decimal point and some zeros. I know 8 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 30 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. There's 6 left over. I bring down my 0. 8 goes into 67 times. 7 times 8 is 56. There's 4 left over. I bring down my last 0, and 8 goes into 45 times. So my decimal is 0.375. Well, 0.375 is less than 0.4 by just a tiny bit. So when I go to my number line to place 3/8, it's going to be a little bit less than 2/5. So 3/8 would be less than 2/5. Now when I look at my number line, I have everything in the right order. And I'm just going to go and write my rational numbers now from least to greatest using my number line, and I'm just going to read it off. First comes 3/8, then 2/5, then 80%, then 1 1/4, and then 2.6. And now my rational numbers are ordered from least to greatest, and this is the end of our lesson on comparing and ordering rational numbers.